a hobbit that used to sit in his hobbit hole and never thought of going on an adventure, had finally gone to a crazy adventure with his friends, the dwarves and the wizards. This crazy adventure is just unbelievable. Yes, I'm talking about JRR Tolkien's The Hobbit. Hey Bookworms, Vedant there. So in today's video, yes, you heard by the intro that today I am going to review JRR Tolkien's The Hobbit. So as you can see, this is the cover design of the book, and this book is a fantastic book, a fantastic masterpiece, a fantastic classic book written by one of the best authors of this generation. So without any further delay, let's just dive into the book's review. So this book revolves around a hobbit called Bilbo Baggins. Now Bilbo Baggins peacefully lives in his hobbit hole, lounges on his armchair and just relaxes in his hobbit hole and never thinks of going on an adventure and with anyone else and just lives an unambitious life. But one day he never thought that 13 dwarves would come in his hobbit hole, just undertaking him to a crazy adventure. So now I will explain exactly what happened. Now the hobbit's friend Gandalf was a very old friend of Bilbo, and he was a wizard. So one day he came to his house and he came for a tea and sort of thing, and he then said to the hobbit that will you go to an adventure? So he peacefully refused because he just wanted to stay in his hobbit hole, lazily lounge on his armchair and all that. So after that refusal from Bilbo, Gandalf left. But little did the hobbit know that 13 dwarves will come to his house. So Gandalf didn't give up. So then he called 30 dwarves who will undertake the adventure along with Bilbo. So the 13 dwarves came, and it was an unexpected party. Bilbo was pretty shocked and pretty startled because he was not expecting 13 dwarves. And they had a chit chat, they sang songs and all that, they had a great party and all that. And after all the 13 dwarfs came, after the party, they planned on going to the adventure. So there was a dwarf in the party, and he was a very important dwarf, and his name was Thorin. Now Thorin's father and grandfather were very renowned people. Thorin's father was Thrain, and Thorin's grandfather was Thror. And Thror had a kingdom sort of in near the Lonely Mountain. So he was the king of the Lonely Mountain, and he was the king. He was the lord under the Lonely Mountain. And he was very rich, and he had his treasures, and he used to keep it in a very secret place. And dragons especially are very attracted to gold, treasure and all that. So they were very attracted to it. So one day Smaug the dragon came to the Lonely Mountain just to steal the treasure, and Thror and all the others in the Lonely Mountain were killed except Thrain, Thror and obviously Thorin. And there was a town nearby, and that town was completely destroyed by Smaug, and the treasure was now Smaug's, and they left the treasure, and it was a very unhappy ending to it. So they were going to retrieve the treasure, but little did they know to experience such crazy journeys. They went through a lot of animals, a lot of traps, a lot of insects to attack them, and they then just went through the journey. Now Bilbo was a very fearful dwarf, a very fearful hobbit rather. So he never expected to go on an adventure, and that adventure taught Bilbo a lot of things. and it taught Bilbo to be himself. After the adventure, Bilbo changed a lot in person, and he had a lot of changes, including bravery, patience, and all these abilities and skills. And Bilbo had something to live the life alive for. So in the adventure, Bilbo carried his sword knife sort of weapon, and he named it Sting. And the most secret recipe sort of was that Bilbo had got an invisible ring. So the ring, if you wear that ring, you will be completely invisible. And he got that ring in his adventure, and he told nobody about that ring. And with that ring, he would go on adventures and he would defeat his enemies and all that. So later on, they went to the lonely mountain after all the difficulties they faced, and obviously they didn't have any vehicles, so it took a long while for them to reach to the lonely mountain. So this book is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. This book has 352 pages, which are very easy to read and with relatively small text, but you can even read this book if you're a fast reader in 1 week. And this book is a very good book and very interesting, full of adventures, full of craziness, full of songs, full of humor, full of comedy and all that. So full of, and obviously full of adventure and full of fantasy. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I really love to meet you guys after a very long time. Thank you and have a nice day.